If you still think that Windows is better than Linux at gaming, you need to watch this video. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at Omarchy Quattro versus Windows 11, and this is running on real hardware. I've got identical AO stars, 24 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, and they're both running on AMD Pro 6850Hs. I'll have a link to the hardware in the description if you want to check it out. We'll let these updates finish, and then we'll do a restart test to see which one boots up quicker. Okay, we're going to do a reboot test, and for that we're going to do a shutdown-R 1133, so it's scheduled for that time. Same thing on Windows. Paste that in the terminal. Omarchy even had a 3-second countdown and it still won. Okay, let's pull up the system information. On the Windows side, you just right click on Start, go to System, and then About. And then on the Omarchy side, you do a super space bar, come down and click on About. And then I'll move this over so we can see. I'm just going to show you the visual differences between Windows and Omarchy. On the Windows side, our processor is an AMD Ryzen 7 Pro 6850H with Radeon graphics. We have 24 gigs of RAM and the speed is 6400. The graphics card currently has 486 megs allocated, and we have a terabyte of storage. And you can see that 60 gigs is being used by the OS. And then on the Omarchy side, we've got our CPU, AMD Ryzen 7 Pro 6850H. It shows a little bit more information. So it's got 8 cores and it shows 16 threads, and that's running at 4.79 gigahertz. The integrated graphics is the Radeon 680M. I'm running at 1440p on my monitors. The space being used is 88.5 gigs out of our terabyte, and we're using 2.3 gigs out of our 24. We're running Omarchy 4.0.0-1, Linux kernel 7.1.8. That's running Hyperland 0.56.2. The terminal is foot 1.27, got 10 flat packs and a little over 1,000 Pac-Man packages. I'm running the Q2 DM1 theme and the JetBrains Mono Nerd font. And that's just a quick look at the system information on both. Now let's pull up the system monitor, and then on the Windows side, we'll do Task Manager, and we can start with processes. On the Windows side, our CPU is between 0 and 1%. Memory being used is about 18%. No disk or network being used. And then we've got our processes. I can sort this by CPU and memory. And then on the Omarchy side, if I do the same thing, under processes, our CPU is 0.4, memory is 148 meg. I can sort that by memory and see that the quick shell is using 438, and then we can see our GPU percentage and our VRAM that's being used. And that was processes, so let me come down. So now we're going to do CPU, memory, disk, network, the integrated graphics. On the Windows side, you can see we've got 161 processes. We're using between 0 and 1% of our CPU. Under memory, we're using 4.8 gigs. We have 18.5 available. There's our disk. Not really using the hard drive that much, just sitting here idle. Here's our integrated graphics. And then on the Omarchy side, our CPU is 0.4, 0.8. Our memory being used is 2.5 gigs, and Quick Shell is mainly using that. Disk, again, not really doing much. Network, not really doing much. Our GPU, okay, and this does show the temperature as well. So 39 Celsius, Windows is running 41 Celsius. And then we've got our VRAM, and it shows us that Hyperland is using the majority of the VRAM. Okay, I'm just gonna do a Super W to get out of that, and then on Windows we'll just close it down. And now I'm going to right click on the Windows logo and go to Terminal and maximize that, arrow up, and let's do a Fastfetch. We'll do the same on the Omarchy side. On the Windows side, we're running Windows 11 Pro 25H2 5.1.26100. CPU is the AMD Ryzen 7 Pro 6850H. The GPU is the Radeon graphics. It doesn't show the 680M portion, but that's what it is. We're using 4.42 gigs out of our 24, and again, 60 gigs out of our 1 terabyte. On the Omarchy side, hardware is the same. Linux kernel 7.1.8, Hyperland 0.56.2, Foot 1.27, 10 flat packs, a little over 1,000 Pac-Man packages, and we're using 88 gigs out of our terabyte. And that's just a quick look at Fastfetch and the system monitor. All right, let's take a look at the file managers. Omarchy uses Nautilus as the file manager, and it's currently using 359 megabytes. And on Windows 11, it's got File Explorer, and you can see in the task manager here, it's using 156 megabytes. All right, now let's compare the package managers. On the Windows 11 side, we have WinGet. So we'll go WinGet install. And then the test application we'll get is GIMP. And then on the Omarchy side, we're going to do sudo pacman s and GIMP. Put in our password. Go ahead and install that. And on the Windows 11 side, what is it saying? Several different versions. We want the .gimp.3. And we'll let that download. And something that you can't hear. On the Omarchy side, I hear no fans. On the Windows 11 side, I can hear the fans kicking off. If I had to guess percentage-wise, they're probably at 50%. Okay, that did install, so we'll go ahead and close out of that. And we can just double-click on the GIMP icon. On the Omarchy side, we'll do a super W, super space to get our menu back up, and then we'll just type GIMP and let that load. The Omarchy side downloaded faster, installed faster, and launched faster. Close out of that welcome menu there and go to help and about, and both are running 3.2.4. And that's just a quick look at the package managers and how to install software from the terminal. Right, let's take a look at the panels and the system tray on both. Starting with Windows, in the bottom right hand corner we have our time and our date. Click on that and we've got our notifications and a calendar. Next to that we've got our sound and our network, as well as OneDrive. I'm not currently signed in. And then we have some hidden icons here, Bluetooth, Defender, and the Radeon graphics. And then we have our application launcher, the search bar, what I call the super key, but that's the start menu. You click on that, that's where you can get to your applications, of course. You got your profile and then power options, and then the weather. And on the desktop, you have several different icons. On the Omarchy side, starting in the top right hand corner, we have our display. We can control our brightness and our text size, as well as the scale. Next to that, we've got our volume. It's got our speakers and our microphone. And then we've got our network and our Bluetooth. In the middle, we've got our weather, our time and our day. And then if we hover next to that, we've got a caffeine application, notifications, night light. We can set a reminder. You can do a screen recording, and you can do dictation. And then on the far left, we have our 5 workspaces and our Omarchy menu. So we click on that. That brings up the Omarchy menu, and that's the same as doing super spacebar. That's just a quick look at the taskbar, system tray, and the top bar. For this next test, I've got the task manager open, as well as Cosmic System Monitor. Speedometer 3.1 is out. Okay, we'll do that one then. And I'm going to do the same thing on Omarchy. Go ahead and start the test. On the Omarchy side, we're using 1.5 gigs to run Brave. On the Windows side, we're using about 800 megs and counting. Okay, we got up to a gig, a little over a gig on the Windows side, 1.72 on the Omarchy side. Windows got 24.7 to where Omarchy got 24.4. Let's take a look at the wallpapers and themes. On the Windows side, you've got a light and a dark version, and then you've got what's called Spotlight, which will go out on the internet and download different images every day. Then you've got a glow theme, captured motion theme, sunrise theme, and then another flow. It looks like that one's gray instead of blue. So we'll go ahead and apply this dark one. And one quick note, if we go into the terminal, you can see how the theme does not match what we change it to where on the Omarchy side, I'll switch to Retro 82. That changes, and then I'll go into Style, Background, and then we can pick a different background as well. Let's go with this cool looking deer here. That's pretty nice. If I do Super Enter and I do a Fastfetch, you can see where the theme has completely changed to match what we selected, the Retro 82. Also, you can double click on this top bar and you can see where the text changes based on your wallpaper. It does an auto detection of your wallpaper to see if dark or light fonts and icons would look best. We double click again You can see the dark bar comes back and the font is orange, to where when we make it transparent, the fonts and the icons go dark. And that's just a quick look at the themes and wallpapers. All right, let's talk about release cycles. Omarchy is a rolling release based on Arch, so it updates every day. So on the Omarchy side, it's just a sudo pacman syu, put in your password. It'll go out, see if there's any updates. If there's not, it'll come back like this just did, saying everything's up to date. On the Windows side, right click on your start button, go into system, and then you've got your Windows update right there. And then you can check for updates that way. And we have none. But going back to the release cycle, the monthly security updates come out the second Tuesday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's what's known as Patch Tuesday. If you know who your SCCM or your WSUS administrator is, go ahead and buy them a coffee. I can't imagine. And then the optional non-security preview updates come out the fourth Tuesday of each month. Okay, and as far as Windows 12, it's just a rumor. I just searched it on this Copilot search. It says Windows 12 has not been officially announced. Microsoft has no confirmed release plans as of 2026. And that's the release cycles between these two. All right, now we've got the Superposition benchmark. They're both at 1080p medium with OpenGL selected. So I'm just going to kick these off. All right, and on the Omarchy side, we've got 4801. On the Windows side, 4292. All right, now we're going to do No Man's Sky. I don't know of a benchmark included with the game, so I'm just going to start a new game. Try to start them at the same time. We'll do normal. And I know about Mango HUD on Linux. I don't know about Windows, so I just use the Steam in-game overlay. And it looks like Linux did load faster, so I'm just going to wait for Windows to get ready. Okay, I'm going to press E on both. Yeah, it looks like Omarchy has about a 10 frame advantage over Windows 11, and that's no man's sky. And that's going to do it for today's video. If you found the video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.